A quick word from this video's sponsor and we'll get started. Escape from Site-19 have released an amazing new game card, When Day Breaks. This one is really going to raise the stakes in your game if you draw this card. Fail a single task and you become a 001 entity. If you then roll onto or over another player, you have to perform a fight roll. If the player you have passed or joined loses, they also become a 001 entity and it's game over. You have failed to escape Site-19. There are two ways to get your hands on this card. Head over to Board Game Geek and leave an authentic review and rating at least 50 words in length and you will be sent one. Or purchase the game now. Every new order will now contain the When Day Breaks card. Use the code below to get 10% off your order. So find the link below, use the code on the screen, and see if you and your mates can escape from Site-19. Previously, Jacob, Elise and Kira were attached to a research team stationed in the city of Undublin. They had the good fortune of being underground when the sun melted the world they knew above. Relentless though, the flesh soon found them and began sweeping across the city. While the bobbies rallied and mounted a defence against the flesh, the trio fled to the Houses of Parliament. As Undublin drowned in fire and the bobbies made their last stand, the survivors found a ship to take them away from this fiery hell. A note inside promised them safety and a pint if they could make it to the shores of Undublin. Recording 7. Last night we passed by what I can only assume is an approximation of the Flemish coast. There were these strange mechanical creatures arrayed along the shore. They all had a single shining lens at the centre of their faces and clockwork bodies. It's hard to describe, they were quite a way away, but they moved along the coast to follow us. Some were on all fours, some were mostly upright. All were loping along without breaking line of sight with the large lenses that made up their faces. Elise and Kira were both fascinated. I have to wonder to myself what kind of horrors would await us if we actually debarked onto that dark continent. Still, we're making good time. Though there's the problem of the ripples in the water a dozen or so meters back. Kira's sure we're being followed and I would tend to concur. But what's following us? I would have sworn a few hours ago I spotted a single fleshy eyeball just break the surface. But by the time I got Elise, it was gone. Kira thinks it's possible that there are other monsters in these waters, and maybe she's right. We only speak in hushed whispers now, for fear of awakening something else. Elise is possibly dealing with things the least well out of all of us. Yesterday she just started laughing. Kira and I tried to quiet her down, but it didn't do any good. Eventually she started to quietly cry, and that settled her down. I'm not sure what to do. None of us are, to be honest. Recording 8.
Agent Hawksworth has been making these audio logs for some sort of therapeutic purpose. Sounds silly, but frankly, he's the sanest of us all, so I'm gonna give it a try. My name is Agent Kira North, former head of security for the SCP-001 project. I say former because I'm pretty sure 1678 is either burned to cinders or drowning in melted flesh right now. Either way, there's not much to go back to. Hawksworth is trying to comfort Dr. Caperson right now, and I don't know how much longer she's gonna last. Hawksworth is a good sort, has a decent head on his shoulders. The man knows when to put his nose to the grindstone and risk a little to gain a lot. At least Caperson is a mess. She was on temporary assignment when the world ended, and 5 will get you 10 that she's involved romantically with Hawksworth. He wouldn't admit to it, but I can see the way he looks at her. So we drag her along anyway. Hawksworth is probably right about her, actually. The number of living humans on Earth is probably in the thousands at most if the sun's gone wrong, so we'll need every man and woman we have to bring back civilization. I tried to use the radio on board, but all I got out of it was silence. It's possible we're not in the range of anyone or anything yet, but it's worth a try. I'll give it a test every other hour or so, and we'll keep alert to any incoming messages or warnings. Because the other thing is that we're definitely being followed. I don't want to spook anyone, but I saw the creature under the water this morning. It's about twice the size of the ship and moving at exactly our pace. This little steamer is just putting away without a care, but I guarantee you, as soon as we get to where we're going, that thing is going to make itself known. When that happens, I'll be ready. And I'll make sure Hawksworth is too. Hopefully Dr. Caperson is below decks when that happens.
Recording 9. Kira and Elise are below decks right now. There's a palpable sense of dread that I haven't felt since the night before the attack on the tent city. Elise says we ought to be in visual range of the Irish coast soon, and it won't be long after that we'll be docked in Dublin. Or Undublin, I guess. After the weird monsters I saw along the European coast, I am a lot less confident in the safety of land down here. Where else are we going to go, though? There's only enough canned food on board to last us another few days, at most. I'm going to go check on Elise. Kira's not exactly the most caring person in the world. Recording 10.
Ah, allies! I see your boat on the horizon, refugees of the great city of Unlondon. Come now, and see the fruits of my original labour.
This is Kira North. I would like to advise you that we are currently being followed by an unknown entity.
That is a troubling notion, but not one I was unable to predict. A flare is being fired from the docks. Make speed in that direction and pray.
Copy that. I see the flare. We will make our way to you.
Do not bother slowing down if you feel you are in danger. Crash if you must, and be prepared to depart as soon as you do. Dublin Bay is prepared to receive you.
I copy that. We'll see you when we land.
Recording 11.
The cause of the Republicans is just and grand, but there are greater threats to consider now. Our illustrious city's creator is staying here for a time. I know, we threw him out on his ear when he opposed the unionization of the Guard, but as much hate as we might have for him, we owe him at least a small debt. London has fallen, and with it, the whole of Under England is sure to follow. Under Scotland may swiftly come under threat as well, and we stand to lose much by holding to old grudges. I know that hatred burns in the hearts of many of our citizens, but we are better than he is. I know this. I know your true hearts are filled with love and understanding, and an urge to burn the monsters that have begun to attack even our city with ever hotter fire. And we will. Undublin will not fall. We refuse to allow for that possibility.
Recording 12. My god, these people are not fucking around. It wasn't a flesh creature chasing us after all, it was an amalgamation of clockwork creatures, like the ones we saw on the beach in Flanders. They somehow joined together into a massive approximation of a sea creature, and as soon as we got close to the docks, it rose up out of the water like some grand mechanical kraken. The first tentacle that rose from the water was blown apart by cannon fire, and it didn't stop. We were fearful for our lives, but the barrage was precisely aimed. The mechanical creature was bombarded and fell apart quickly. In seconds, there was no trace on the surface that it had ever existed, beyond a slick of oil. We were able to slow down enough to not damage our ship, and when we hopped off the boat, we were greeted by, I don't know how to describe it, Victorian-era gentlemen? Faces wrapped in bandages, but they also wore very smart suits, cloaks and top hats, and each carried a massive cane or a stick as well. I suppose they're this place's equivalent of the bobbies, but they appear to be able to speak. One asked me if I was alright and directed us into the city. There are other people here. Most appear to live in squalor, begging along the thoroughfare, but a few men and women appear to be of some means and walk along the roads, mostly ignoring the beggars. This might change everything. Elise has perked up considerably since we've landed. She's theorising that Unlondon was unfinished, while this place is much more complete. It certainly seems that way to me, but she's the expert. Is it possible that we could live here? Recording 13.
Jacob lent me his recorder. I'm actually quite astonished at the battery life of the thing, but I suppose it is to be expected from Foundation Tech. Either way, I should introduce myself. I'm Dr. Elise Caperson, former research assistant of the 1678 project heads, Drs. Mills and Hyatt. I'm unsure of what part of the city we're in, but the cannon and gunfire is constant. We're carrying our own weapons, but we've still been hurried into a library across the street from the pub I have to assume was our destination. The guards are standing watch just inside the door, prepared to defend the place. There are other civilians here. Some seem entrenched into this underworld aesthetic, and I suspect they've either been here a while or were made down here. But there are other survivors from above besides just us. This is astonishing. I had imagined that once the sun went wrong, that the whole world was slated to die. But apparently I was incorrect. I haven't met any other Foundation personnel yet, but there's plenty of people from Dublin. No one is sure about numbers, but it's suspected there might be more than a few hundred survivors from above. And another woman, who I am less sure of. I watched other survivors go up to her and thank her profusely. I haven't been close enough to overhear anything yet, but I think Agent North recognizes her. They're both keeping their distance from each other, though. The firefight outside appears to be dying down. They must be using something beyond cannon and firearms if they're going to win this, but we can't get a good look at any actual fighting. I see lots of red glare coming from the windows outside, but who knows? Either way, I'm going to ask North about that weird woman. Hey, Jacob, thank you for this.
You alright?
I'm doing fine, just, thank you. Which button turns this off?
Recording 14.
I'm 90% sure that's Director Moose, which means it's possible the Wanderer's library is being used to evacuate people. I don't know if Moose recognizes me or not. It doesn't matter, though. At the end of the world, it's expected for people to call on any help they can get. Moose has contacts in the library, and if they want to help save people, then here we are. I have to assume this library is some sort of nexus point, but that's also not really any of my business. Not everyone here is from Dublin, so they didn't come from directly above. I have to wonder what's going on in the library itself right now. That's above my pay grade if we're being honest, but if they can open ways in and out, then maybe there are people safe there too. How many extra-dimensional spaces are housing people far away from the sun? Humanity's gonna make it through this one way or another. Diminished, but standing, I think.
Recording 15. Undublin is safe again, for now. We left the library and the whole refugee situation they've got going on over there. It's probably for the best, resources being what they are. Then we went over to the pub. There were glasses for all of us, even some of the guards were there. Their bandages lowered to reveal a burnt, red, cracked mouth to drink through. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but they're all friendly enough and frighteningly competent. What the creator of Unlondon said to me just now has shaken me to my very core, though, and I don't know how to respond yet. North and Caperson haven't spoken yet, but I want to make sure this gets recorded. First, the creator of Unlondon isn't a person. I don't know how to describe it. But the place where he should have been sitting was just a starry hole in space. No matter what angle we looked at him, the edges had some sort of skin. He moved like he had bones, but that's all. And he finished quite a few pints of Guinness before finishing his request that we help him destroy the entire world. His plan is madness, and also maybe one of the best things I've ever heard. He wants to trigger a nuclear war. North knows a bit more than me, her clearance being higher than mine, but when the creator mentioned SCP-1984, she seemed to know exactly what he was talking about. Some Russian Cold War relic that is ready to initiate nuclear Armageddon at a moment's notice. The creator of this place seems to think that if we can gain access to a British nuclear sub, we might be able to launch the missiles into Russian airspace, triggering an all-out attack as a response. If the flesh burns in fire, he said, what's better than fire everywhere at once? I hardly can disagree, but Elise was against it at first. She mentioned the nuclear winter, how the sun would be blocked out for years, and then she stopped mid-sentence and we all realised what this could mean. And that's how a hole where a man should be, in a city that doesn't exist, in a world with a broken sun, just convinced us to trigger an end-of-the-world scenario in order to stop another end of the world from progressing. Heavens help us. We're going topside today. The Foundation has a submarine moored in Dublin, and we're going to take it out and start looking around. Elise is going to stay behind and help care for the refugees. I think I'll leave this recorder with her. I'd hate to see it sink to the bottom of the ocean after all. Someone ought to know what happened down here. So, this is Agent Hawksworth, signing off, I guess.
People of Undublin, You have fought with the fervor expected from a people of such courage and grace. The invaders are once again repelled, and at minimal losses. But not all is well in Undublin. The entrance to the surface will be shortly closed, permanently. I know many of you came through the stairway and expected family to follow. We have kept the stairway open for as long as we could, but despite the efforts of our brave guard, it is impossible to do so forever. Given the stairway is clogged with burning, screaming flesh monsters, I do not believe there was much point in it remaining open. Your loved ones are the ones around you right now. The rest have succumbed to the horrors above. I apologize for the harshness of my tone and the news I must deliver, but I believe wholeheartedly that we will survive this terror and come out alive on the other side. Even now, a select group of guards and other survivors are making a trip through the portal to the above world. The last travelers to make the jump for some time, and they leave with a plan to bring the fight to the enemy. I cannot tell you what this plan is, for who knows who else might be listening, but know this. We will retake the surface. We will emerge into that bright, shining world full of vigor and resolve, and with the sun restored. I swear it. That is all for now. Thank you, my friends, and may God save Ireland.
And that concludes Undublin. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Lots more when day breaks to come. A massive, massive thank you to all of the incredible voice actors for helping in this video, namely the Volgan, Tastraws and Lumi. All their links are below, please check them out. Brilliant work from them all. Big shout out as well to Dr. Sumerian who wrote this with me. You can find his channel link below, go subscribe to his channel to show him some love. Big thanks to the amazing patrons and members who keep the channel going, please consider joining them. And thank you to Rick Trexon, Generals Alert, Wings of a Meme, JT Walker, Horizons, Nicholas, Number of the East, Wunderschnell, Fallen Angel, Splendid the Tier God, The Lav, Lesby Friends, Ken, Guardian of Energy, Lunar Galaxy and Michael. Big thanks to the council members Arctos, Kibara, Captain Court, Hunter Killer, Cat Clone, Tree, Lil Sub, Nikas, Monarch, Kicker and Dr. Martin. And massive thanks to the administrators Viger, Kamana, Romulus, Panzer, Sonic, Razman, Pro Voice Actor, GFHD. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you all soon, and take care.